What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Like I said in a previous video, we're going to be sanding down and repainting the Yamaha VX Cruiser here. And previously mentioned, got the front piece off, got the mirrors off, and seat has been recovered. So I gotta scrape off these numbers on this side, finish taking these off. They are taking the paint with it, as you can see, more so on this side. Paint just kind of came off with the letters and numbers, but going to be taping off the bump stop here and most likely removing the front piece, the nose piece, because this definitely got some bad rash. So let's go right on ahead and remove all that stuff and move right along to the sanding. Alright, so I just finished sanding everything. I got this part down pretty flush. It's actually inside of its own self. But next thing we gotta do is, well, we're gonna patch this and all the little other pinholes that I could find up here. It got pretty bad, but I smoothed it out pretty decently with the sander. But again, there are some spots that I'm gonna just patch up, especially over in this area. Well, not really, yeah, like this stuff here is gonna get patched up. These holes here, right here, there's a gash that's going to get patched. Right here, something happened that really rubbed it down and they just painted over it. So like this side really got beat up, but this side didn't really get beat up, but smacked something really hard at some point. So I gotta get the putty knives from the store. So we're gonna venture out into the world and get those and come back and do it. So I will be right back with the knives in my hand, right? And just like that, we're back with the spatulas, spreaders, because we need the specific ones to go bloop, bloop, bloop. But so let me get all that mixed up and we're gonna start spreading it. And then once it dries, I'm probably gonna close the garage door and turn on my space heater, because it is only like 50 degrees today, so I'm gonna try and get it a little bit warmer in the garage, maybe, we'll see. But let me get all that set up and let me show you guys what I will be using, because it's not regular Bondo, it's gonna be something smoother. Let me just grab it. So this is icing, like this is the brand name, but it's similar to Bondo in the sense of you got the hardener that you gotta mix in with it. But this is a lot smoother than Bondo, and it's meant for filling like little pinholes like this and stuff like this. So it's meant for exactly what I'm using it. But first thing we gotta do, I'm gonna wipe everything down with cheesecloth, tack cloth, whatever you wanna call it, sticky cloth, whatever. I'm gonna wipe it all down, and then wipe it down with waxing grease remover as well. And then we're gonna start mixing up this stuff, patching every little hole that's on this jet ski, at least on the outside, and doing this back here as well, because I figured I would get this little piece. Everything else is so small that I'm not too worried about it, but the main thing I want to do is the outside run. So let's go ahead and start cleaning everything off. So I just finished up the first coat of the icing or glazing putty, whatever you want to call it, and I'm gonna have to sand it down and do some more spots because this is kind of got some deeper. Whoops, it's like dry to the touch right now, and the shallower spots are gonna be drier, but I'm gonna wait like 20-30 minutes and wait for it all to like dry hard, and then sand it down with like 180, 220 grit to make it all nice and smooth, and then go over and do like a second coat on anything that I missed, like right here. Or no, this was paint runs that I had to sand down, but anything that I missed or possibly need to touch up, I will do a second coat. Like back here, this spot, I had to do it kind of thicker, but like I said, I'm gonna come back with 180, 220, sand it all down once it's all dry and hardened, and then once all that is done, we can come back in with the primer, prime these spots, and then paint it, which I'm just gonna roll paint it because the paint that I got, it says actually in the instructions to roll paint it, and if you spray it, it's more difficult to spray this paint than it is just to roll it on, and rolling it it'll be fine. But next thing I want to do is possibly take this off and try and restore it and get rid of these scuff marks. I'm gonna paint this guy black up here, and the front piece here, I'm gonna do the same thing and try to restore it, and or just repaint it gray, which I'll probably end up just painting it gray or something. I don't know, we'll see. I'll try and do that right now though. So, as you guys last saw, I did the second coat, sanded it, and I've already thrown some primer onto the really heavy spots of the icing, the glazing. This way, I just gotta sand those down. I'm probably gonna use like a 2000 grit sandpaper to sand down the primed areas, and then we can start painting this bad boy. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the paint I'm using. It's Rust-Oleum top side gloss black, nothing special, got it at the store. And so we'll just have to sand down, wax and grease remove everything one last time and paint it. But I got these guys drying off on the side already, the front and the back handle I painted gray. And something I did here was I painted this top portion black because it was really icky and disgusting I wasn't able to clean it. Like, I couldn't get the stuff out of it. So I just decided to wipe it down with some wax and grease remover and paint it black. And I think it turned out not the best paint job. It's actually pretty good. But I think it will add a good contrast to everything, because you got the black handlebars here, then the gray here. So I think it'll look good. I think it'll kind of spruce up the Wave Runner a little bit. But anyways, let me get my sandpaper, sand down the primered areas, and we just got to paint it. All right, so I just wet sanded, and after wet sanding, wiped it all down, and then degrease, wax and grease remove everything as well. And I am actually going to throw on one coat tonight, because you're supposed to let it dry overnight. So I'm going to put a coat of black paint on everything and then let it dry overnight, because that's what the directions say. And it says to use a short nap or foam roller, and I do have a foam roller here and a couple foam brushes, just the cheap ones. So I'm going to get my roller, stir up the paint, and then start rolling a coat of paint along the sides and the front, everywhere basically that I have the repair spots. And it looks really ugly right now, but I can tell you it is smooth. I mean, it is smoother than it was before. And now there's no giant gashes or holes in the side here or over here. As you saw in the beginning of this video, this was just it was just ugly, and now it looks way better than it did, and it's going to look even better once I have the black paint on. So let me get everything set up, start rolling out the paint. So just put down the first coat, and it looks like it's a different color, but just mind you that this is just covered in dust. So black to black. I'm gonna end up buffing this whole thing, especially these edges here where it like meets. The corners here I'm not too worried about, the inside, but I am gonna buff it all most likely. At least here I'm gonna for sure buff it when it's all said and done. But first coat's down. Some spots it does peek through. You can kind of see, okay, maybe not so much on camera, but there's a couple spots that peek through, so it is going to need at least a second coat, maybe even a third coat. But that's going to wait for the next video. So I probably cut out the part where I'm going to say I'll see you guys tomorrow. So anyways, I'm going to end this video here. Prep work and paint have been started on the Wave Runner, the Yamaha VX Cruiser. Next video will be probably some of the finishing paint touches that I'm going to do, and then putting everything back together and getting outside and washing and buffing it. So stay tuned for that video if you want to see the final product. Got to be sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and I would greatly appreciate it. And be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and if you're already subscribed. And as always, I will catch you guys later. Bye.